of our objectives have been attacked. Our forces have taken an objective.
Kill the tank.
There's 3 helicopters now. We need to go back.
Hi guys, it's Matthias, and in today's video I'd like to talk about something that I think is becoming a more and more obvious problem with especially Battlefield and the Battlefield franchise, but maybe it's a problem that runs quite deep in the gaming industry, where there seems to be a massive disconnect between the game developers, the big game studios, the big game companies, and the actual gamers, that when we buy a game we plan on enjoying this game for hopefully at least 2 years until the next game in the same franchise is released. Even though sometimes, as you recently have discovered, it can take 3 years between 2 games in the Battlefield franchise. Now, with Battlefield 2042, by now most of us know that there are some quite severe problems with leadership, or maybe a lack thereof. And one of the results of that has been not only a really bad experience with Battlefield 5, but we also heard that a lot of devs have left the studio and moved to, you know, whatever other job they have found. Apparently, this game has only been worked on for about a year, and initially what we are playing here is what was supposed to be a Battle Royale game. And that's one of the explanations to why we have specialists rather than the normal 4 classes. Now, there's a lot of rumors and speculations, and some of them have been confirmed. But one of the things that I'd like to bring up in this video is that a lot of the problems that we see that has made people really hate on this game is not that the problems are unique to this game. It's just that you have more of them when it comes to some of the things that are very frustrating with the Battlefield franchise. Now, in my experience, one of the things that I come to realize that bothers me a lot playing well, actually quite a number of Battlefield games is that you have this consistent source of irritation that shouldn't have to be there in the first place. It's like sometimes playing Battlefield is like you're trying to drive a car and there's this annoying fly buzzing around you all the time and you really can't get rid of it. Or if you're trying to sleep or trying to relax and you hear the water dripping in the kitchen or something. And what happens with these things is that initially it's not that bad really, right? But the longer it goes on, the more it's likely to bother you. And if you can't do anything about it, it can escalate and you get really irritated and really frustrated with it. Battlefield is like that all the time. And with a game like Battlefield 2042, you just have more of it. Oh, and my mouse stopped working again. F*** this f***ing shit game.
I think that's when you try to unbind all your controller keyboard.
A couple of the more obvious, very easy to see problems with Battlefield 2042 is the initial spawn in the beginning of every round, where you have no choice but to spawn in. If you haven't, of course, got yourself a vehicle, then you'll just be spawned in the base on what is probably the largest maps in the Battlefield game, and then you just have to run unless you're lucky enough to get a ride by somebody that spawned any of those vehicles that normally just drives by you in high speed. Now, if that wasn't bad enough when it comes to the spawn system, when you spawn in when the game is running in the middle of the round or something, then it's normally very hard to see where you're actually going to spawn in on the maps. You can't zoom in to get a more clear view on who to spawn on. If you haven't memorized what the spawn looks like, in many cases I still don't know if I'm going to spawn on top of a rooftop or if I'm going to spawn on the ground below it. And the funny thing about these bugs is that you shouldn't be you should be able to talk about these bugs, because I mean, the solution to these problems, almost all of them, or most of them anyway, are already in older versions of this franchise. You know, for whatever reason, they create bugs and frustration moments in a way that you could never imagine that this problem could even possibly appear. This, while at the same time, things that can be very, very frustrating in a couple of different games had a tendency to just get worse for whatever reason in Battlefield 2042. Like, for example, why is it that we need this disorienting animation when we get revived? Why? It's just like, not only is it a waste of time for any developer to sit there and actually program that shit, but then when we play the game, it does nothing but cause irritation. Why can't we just get revived in the direction that we're already looking without any animation at all? Why not? It would be so much better. Just remove that animation. So another issue that I just can't let go of, I keep coming back to it over and over, and that is the nerf that they did to C5, where not only did they nerf the damage of the C5, they also nerfed how fast you can throw the C5, and the time between throwing each C5 was prolonged. And
Get fucking wrecked!
okay, somebody got wrecked. And on top of that, the distance that you can throw with the C5 was also reduced, as if, you know, one or two things wouldn't be enough. But the thing that I don't understand with this is that why would you nerf or make a change like this in a way that just slows things down? It's so boring and so frustrating to see those slow animations, knowing that you're going to get killed, and you see it, you can't do anything about it because the game is so goddamn slow. I mean, you could find a way to balance this differently, right? Oh, and here, just to show you this, right? You know, more incentive to camp on rooftops or on top of high buildings. It's like, why do we need more incentive to do that? But again, going back to the C5 nerf that I was talking about, if you would continue to argue that C5 was overpowered during beta versus tanks, which I completely think is false, I don't think it was at all, because, well, I've already explained it, but it's very, very unique with the fact that it was that specific map where tankers tried to camp on hilltops, and those hilltops had a lot of vegetation, so you could easily sneak up on the tanks, and also the fact that the gunner weapons were bugged, so the gunners couldn't reliably keep the tank safe in any capacity, so it was basically like the tanker was alone every time he spawned the tank. So a lot of the problems with that was just bugs. It was just map designs and a bug with the tank. Still, we had this massive nerf to C4, which made C4 more boring. And yeah, every time I say C4, I mean C5. Now I know I play mostly Conquest because it's the game mode that I like the most. What I found with Battlefield 2042 was that this game has so much, you spend so much more time in this game not fighting, not shooting in a first-person shooter. And yeah, I know I could play other game modes and I could play 64-player servers and stuff like that. Honestly, we've been thinking about the number of players, and for Conquest, maybe for the smaller maps, it's possible that 40 versus 40 or 45 versus 45, something like that would be a lot more enjoyable with 5-player squads, by the way. And another thing that I'd like to ask you guys in the community, and I'm pretty sure you know my take on this, but is there anybody that deliberately buys a $80 or $100 AAA title because lock-ons is fun and interesting and exciting? I mean, yeah, you have to do it because it's your only option, but should it really be your only option? And yeah, well, you know, we have all these shooting them down with the M5 and with tanks and all that stuff, but if you reliably need to counter an experienced heli crew, then unfortunately the AA rocket launcher is your only real option. Unfortunately, I find it even worse when you're in a heli and you're fighting another heli, which, for the most part, at least with the big helis, with the Apache and the Sukhov or whatever it's called, it's just basically whoever locks on first and whoever forces out the flare from the other pilot. That's the entire deciding factor of how that fight is going to go, for the most part. Why is that interesting, or to who is that interesting, or is it surprising that a game becomes less interesting when this is a too big part of the gameplay? It's strange with us people, isn't it, that people that look at things from different point of views have a very hard time understanding another person's point of view. You see this in a lot of aspects, and if you want to keep it to gaming, I see this also with what has become my new passion in gaming and in life as a general, which is cryptocurrency, NFT gaming, or crypto gaming, play to earn gaming. You see a bit of a disconnect there too, especially when it comes to crypto enthusiasts, which I am partly, and gamers, which I am also partly. I have one leg in on both sides there, but when you see just general gamers and you listen to how crypto enthusiasts talk about these NFT games, there's a massive disconnect there as well that I probably should bring up in the future also. Me, I see both sides of this because I am a gamer. I'm looking at these crypto games for the sake of gameplay and for you know, the NFT and the play to earn as an additional part of the gameplay, while most of the people that are hyped about NFT gaming, they are mostly just hyped about it for as an investment or as a trading opportunity to make money. Anyway, I hope we can continue this discussion maybe in one of the upcoming streams. And yeah, big thanks for watching, everyone.
Oh, you killed him.
Did you kill him?
Yeah.
This is so silly. Here somewhere.
Turning with this. Oh, done. Hit him once.
Hit him once.
See a guy?
I think so.
Oh my god, he just turned.
I got him. Nice, good job.
I need to recover.
Ready with the support drop.
No rock gun. No.
Raw bolts everywhere.
All these fucking snipers!
Yeah, sniper city.
Oh, behind, up above, up above. Haha, Greta on the move!
Now they have two of them, I believe. I'm working on one. Dead. Yeah,
The other one flared.
One.
I'm going for the. If the other jet sees me doing this, I'm dead.
You can throw most sectors on the battle.
I did some damage to it.
Yeah, me too. You should be fine. I guess jet because yours Russian jet is better. And they have a jet somewhere. Over sea, I believe.
Shot down the other plane.
Nice.
On the rooftops.
Allies are engaging at Delta 1.
And that's why I never use melee in a Battlefield game, because the developers have decided that that's supposed to take like 4 years. Hey Darren, how you doing?
Helicopter's going our base.
And this shit again. I'm dead.